Hello YouTube and hello 18. You guys are crushing it. Like, I cannot believe how much my channel has grown over the past 2 weeks since I started analyzing SB19. So I'm just gonna keep riding the train, and this is MAPA. Apparently this is a play on words that you Filipinos tend to do a lot, and apparently the song has something to do with family. I don't know anything about it, but this is the first take performance, so yeah, let's get right into it. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Goodness.
Grabe ah.
We back.
Nakakabingi yung katahimikan dito.
Yeah.
All right, I got to get the names right.
Oh, we're back here again.
Silent, man.
Got to get the names right.
God.
Tell me when you're ready. You guys ready?
We're not.
Pablo is the second from the right. That's Pablo, right?
We good?
Yeah, we good.
Okay.
Let's get it.
So it's Pablo on the second to the right. It's Stell to the right. Okay, so it's Ken, Justin, Josh, Pablo, and Stell. Ken, Justin, Josh, Pablo, Stell. It's still going to be hard for me to remember, but I'm trying. I know I've got Ken, Pablo, Stell, so Justin, Josh. So I asked you guys which one's the Justin Timberlake. Well, some of you guys got mad about that. There's a Justin in there. It's just not Justin Timberlake. I'm kidding. Clearly, all these guys do their own thing. It's not quite as homogenous sounding as groups like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, and that's why I like them. That's why I think they're cool. I would otherwise never listen to this style of music. Let's get to it.
Ready? Yeah, let's do this. Let's go.
Mama, kumusta na di na? Tayo lagi nakikita, miss na kita sobra.
Light chest voice sound.
Lagi na lang kami ang nauuna. Di ba pwedeng ikaw muna, akin ang pangamba. Dahil ikaw nga.
Oh yeah, there's that head voice stuff again.
Sa tuwing mundo'y nag-iiba ang dahilan ng aking.
Stell's really good at intervals. What that means is like the gaps between notes. So if I sing like do, mi, so, well, that's 1, 3, 5 in a major arpeggio. So those are all thirds. There's a 1, 3, 5. There's a gap between each one. So do, re, mi, fa, so. Those are all second intervals because they go up by number. Well, he's really good at making big intervals and being super clean and consistent. It's really hard to move up into that head voice sound like he does and stay consistent with these big intervallic jumps. I'm very impressed by his singing. You guys told me that he's like a countertenor anyway. He's been trained as a countertenor and he's done some solo work, which I'm definitely going to check out at some point. I'm very, very impressed by Stell singing across the board. He's just got such a nice tone. He navigates that upper range and makes that transition into the head voice sound so fluid and so easy to do. He's great.
Paghinga, kaya wag mag-alala, ipikit ang iyong matatana. Pahinga muna.
And there's so there's Pablo again with the legato, like I talked about in the last video. These guys all have their own like really distinctive singing characteristics. It's really interesting. Pablo's very good at legato, making a really consistent line of sound as he sings. And so that's kind of his staple thing that I've heard from what he's done so far. So Stell's got the high, moving into the head voice. He's got the really good intervals, the super high range. Pablo's got the really good sense of line, the really consistent legato sound.
Labis pa sa labis ang iyong nagawa, mama. Pahinga muna.
I mean, his legato's not bad either. How many harmonies is that? Da, da, I think it's just root, third, fifth, octave, maybe with some like second motion. And I don't want to get too technical on you guys. I'm trying to analyze the harmonies a little bit. I don't think it's too crazy. By the way, do you know why he's got that headpiece off of his ear? Well, I do that too. A lot of times singers will do that so that we can hear ourselves better because these headphones are noise canceling, which means that it blocks out a lot of the stuff. So sometimes it's really, really hard to hear yourself and make sure your pitches are accurate. I have my students do that too so they can hear themselves, because when this is blocked up, it's already hard to hear how you sound on your own because the sound that comes out of your mouth has to travel around and then go back to your ears to be able to hear yourself. So, anything you can do to help, make that easier on your ears, we're going to do that. Like, you'll see if I ever demonstrate on this channel, like, I'll do that first. So if you ever notice that I'm like flipping my earpiece back like that, I'm about to sing something. So that's what's going on here. Nice harmonies. Yeah, really nice. Some people have made comments on when I talk about some of these first take recordings. Oh, is this really real? Is this really edited? Is it real? Blah, blah. Well, here's proof that it's real. One guy actually cut off a little bit late on this exit. So like when you sing in choral groups, chorus could be like a lot of people, or it could be a few people. Just like this might be considered like a chamber group in the classical spheres, where there's a small amount of people that are focused on blending with each other. When you are in choral ensembles, a lot of the times, part of what makes it lock in is everyone ending the phrases at the exact same time. And if you listen, there's a little bit of bleed over. And it's okay. The thing is, though, it actually shows that this is a legitimate, real performance. Like, listen to when they do these harmonies, you can hear the end of it. Someone's voice kind of bleeds over a little bit. Right there. Yeah, that's just a little thing. I haven't heard him sing as much yet. Tenor. Really nice harmonies. Yeah, so you can really, really hear the overtone. And the overtone, I don't want to get too technical. That's not why you guys are here. You want to learn, but you don't want to be, dunked into science stuff. Overtones are basically when notes in a chord. Chords are when groups of notes are played together. So like if if I pull out my trusty little piano app here and I play a major chord. I don't know what key these guys are in, but for example, this is a note. This is a note. This is a note. But when you play them together, it makes a chord, right? So when people are singing in chords, not only do you have to be singing the correct notes, you have to tune those notes very specifically. If you're playing a guitar or you're playing a piano, well, however that instrument is tuned is how it's going to sound whenever you play the note or the string or whatever, the key, whatever you want to call it. When you sing, you have to manually tune while you're singing. And so part of the challenge and the strategy of singing with other people is tuning not just your notes to be correct, but tuning to make it to where other notes in the ensemble come together as cleanly as possible. And what happens is when you hear these really rich sort of, it almost sounds like an opening up sound of the group. Not just when they sing notes on top of each other, but you'll hear these times where it almost sounds like the group doubles in size. That's because you're getting what are called overtones. And overtones are where two notes are so in tune that they create a pitch above it. There's this really complex physical concept called the overtone series, which is when notes are perfectly in tune, they create these stacks of pitches that we can barely hear. But the way that it's perceptible to us as listeners in groups like this is it just sounds like there's more voices. There's not literally more singing voices, but there are more tones being created, which makes it sound bigger than it is. So let me see if I can give you an example. Listen to when they all come in and all of them are singing different notes and it really locks in. It sounds like it goes from 5 people to like 10. Now, so right now they're just singing in octaves. So ooh, 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 ooh. So you got one singing that, you got ooh, and then you got ooh. Of course, I'm not a tenor, but you've got them singing in all 3 octaves, but they're all singing the same note, so it's not a chord yet. That's a unison in octaves. So there's some harmony. Right there. So if you listen to that part, you can hear how it sounds like it goes from just a few voices to a bunch. Right here. I guess they sung the word go. That's what it sounds like. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But on that O vowel, they locked in, and so it sounds like it's this big group of people. But that's because they're stacking overtones. You're hearing overtones on top of the harmonies. There. Wow. Nice arrangement. So here they're singing in octaves as well. There's some harmony. These harmonies are actually deceptively complex because we're hearing, oh gosh, this is, sorry, this is this is not like my other ones. Now that I know what to expect from these guys, I'm being a little more technical, right? So these harmonies are actually deceptively complex because we're getting what we call close harmonies. Like we're getting some intervals that are very close to each other. So like if I pull out my trusty little piano app again, if I play, for example, and I'm not a master of playing piano by any stretch, but I can just give you some examples. If I play, that sounds good, right? Well, if I take these two, that doesn't sound bad, but it sounds kind of weird, right? But if you put it in a group, if I can build a chord here, that sounds nice, right? Well, what I've done is I've taken these two notes that are really close together, and I've built a chord, and I've taken that note that's really close, taken it up an octave, and it sounds cool now, right? And so what is interesting about these harmonies is they're doing some of this close stuff. Even though it sounds really melodic, it sounds really pretty, they're doing some of these intervals in here that are really close, and it makes it sound kind of almost ethereal. And it's very hard to tune when you've got one person singing these notes that are this close next to each other. Like I've done this in ensembles myself. There's actually a video somewhere buried on YouTube of when I was in college singing madrigals for a new age. I think his composer's name was Robert Nelson, I think. Back when I was in college, there were close harmonies all over the place. It's a small group of us, so you'll hear like all this really wild harmonic stuff. And you have to tune that when you're singing this note and you've got next to you, so it's like, you know, and so stuff like that's really hard to tune. And so it shows a very high degree of musical sensitivity these guys have. Let me see if I can find the point specifically again where you hear this really close harmonies. Yeah, right there. Now that is, gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to let you guys hear that. I have to slow it down. This is going to be tough to point out exactly. So like, so nah, and then you got, so you've got this note, I think, buried in the middle of all this. Yeah, so you got that note in, like, so that note creates this really close sound in the harmonies. It's extremely hard to sing that note in the middle of this context. This is crazy. This is the first time in my channel where I've dove into actually harmonies of people singing before. And that shows that this is really interesting to my ears. It's really interesting to compose. I know this is a little deeper than what you guys are used to so far, but yeah, those close harmonies are extremely hard to pull off and extremely hard to tune in a way that creates these overtone sounds. So it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of listening. You have to really listen to the people around you in addition to being able to sing. And they've got these headphones on that's noise canceling. So they probably have some kind of monitoring going on. So they're in an environment that isn't necessarily conducive to, you know, being able to tune harmonies like they are. So that's just really impressive stuff. These guys are really, really, really talented and sensitive and well-trained, sophisticated musicians. I mean, it's good stuff. In case you did not know, it is harder than ever to grow on this platform, so please like and subscribe. It helps me out so much. On that note, I also am a professional singing teacher. I teach voice lessons for a living. Join my Discord server if you're interested in that kind of thing. I teach all the time. I'd be more than happy to give you a free assessment. It's totally free, 30 minutes, where you can get a good idea of where your voice is at, and we can game plan for the future from there. I also have a Patreon, I have memberships, I have a merch store, all kinds of ways that you can support this channel. Please consider supporting me. I would appreciate it so much. Thank you, and back to the video. Nice melisma. Yeah, Pablo's good too. Harmonies are so good. They're so tight. Okay, so maybe that's why they have one of their earpieces off too, since they're tuning these harmonies. They need to be able to hear each other as well. I noticed this here. Look, he's got one off of his ear, and I think Pablo has his right earpiece on too. Oh, no. Stell does. Stell has one on his right ear. A lot of times you have to tune to the person next to you. So like if you did go back to that ensemble performance when I was in college, you'll see that there's guys and girls in our ensemble and we're all kind of mixed up. It's not guy, girl. It's guy, girl, guy. It's just called kind of all mixed up. And we did that because we tried to set ourselves up in ways to where our voices would blend with the person next to us the most, so that we could listen to the person next to us and use them as a lever on kind of blending our sound with theirs, so that the ensemble as a whole would sound more unified. And it seems like that's what they're doing here, especially since they're singing in kind of a semicircle. You know, some choirs or choral groups will be in like these blocks, like these squares, you know, of sections, and they'll all be in a big, like on risers, like in a square shape or whatever. But whenever you see groups like Chanticleer or Cantus or these guys or any of them, you're going to see them a lot of times either in some circular thing or some kind of like cone shape. But that's because what it does is it lets the sound waves travel across the ensemble so that you can hear across from you and you can hear beside you, and it helps you blend better. And I know that this sounds like a bunch of like, oh, it's not that deep. It really, really is. I know, because I've conducted it. I've been in it. I've been doing it forever. It really is that deep. And that's what's making this sound so pretty. That's what's making this sound so unified. Obviously, their talent and their ability to sing is part of that too. But the way that they're positioned, the way that they have their earpieces on and off, the way that they're pointed at one another, all of these things come together to make the sound blend like it does.
Di ko na sasayangin pang mga natitirang paghinga. Tutungo na kung saan naroon ng mahalaga.
Yeah, Pablo is awesome. Such a fluid voice.
Wala pagkadala kong mapa, saan man mapunta lang kung
Nice.
saan nagmula.
That sounds like a suspension. Ken singing the bass, repping those basses. Key change. So whenever you hear it all kind of shift up like that in pitch, that's called a key change. Usually that just means that the composition of the piece has just changed key. So a key is like if I'm in the key of C major, you're going to hear a lot of these types of chords, these notes. But if I go into, like, for example, the key of G, you know, you're going to hear. Right? So it just means that the key has changed. You're using different notes, and a lot of times in songs that are getting close to the end, they'll raise the key a little bit to make it sound more energetic, like it's building to kind of an end. And that's what they're doing here. It also makes the notes higher. Stella's awesome. Nice head voice. Great breath control to be able to sustain those notes. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so this is an example of what we call polyphony or polyphonic singing. So a lot of polyphonic singing started back around like Bach's days, back in the Baroque era. Polyphony is when you have multiple voices. And by the word voice, I don't mean necessarily singers. I mean, we could be talking about violins, we could be talking about harpsichords, we could be talking about trumpets, any instrument. If you have multiple instruments playing or singing different lines of melodies, all stack and create a bigger musical context. So for example, a lot of Bach fugues that you'll hear, like his organ fugues or harpsichord pieces, or any type of fugue, a lot of times uses some form of polyphony, where you have one main melodic line and then another melody comes in behind it and they cross over and they bob and weave with each other. So when other. So when you hear these guys singing like this, where there's all these different voicings happening, that's actually a classical method of composition called polyphony. And polyphony is a form of musical texture. There's 4 major musical textures. You have monophonic texture, which means everyone's singing the same note. Every voice or instrument is playing the same note. You have homorhythmic, where you have one singular rhythm that everything is playing along with, and a lot of like chorales or like hymns and things like that will be homorhythmic. You have homophonic, where you have an accompaniment and a singular melody over the top, and a lot of popular contemporary music uses homophonic music, and a lot of this song was homophonic for the most part, but this little chorale at the end, this is an example of polyphonic music or polyphony. So yeah, there's just a few nerdy little terms for you to kind of explain what they're doing, but some of these harmonies, these like some of the little points they lock in these chords are just beautiful. Like hold on, like that. Woo. Nice melisma, and what a nice message too, right? I've been so busy talking about the music, it's captivated me so much that I haven't even talked about the message of the song. I mean, this is like a thank you to your parents, you know, mom and dad, you've done so much for me, let me help you now. And I know that you know, culture can be like that. There's a responsibility and expectation to, you know, take care of your family once they've taken care of you. And so I think that this song seems to be kind of an ode to that mindset. And my editor told me, she said that MAPA is kind of like a play on words with ma and pa. You guys, maybe you can explain that a little bit more in the comments for me so I understand a little bit better. I know that wordplay is a big part of like English and Tagalog. You know, you guys use a lot of wordplay. Oh, that was the end of it. I closed it. I stopped it too soon. Beautiful song. Beautiful song. These guys are incredibly talented musicians. They have so much versatility, and they all are so distinctively unique. Stell, Pablo, and Ken are definitely my favorites. The other two, Justin and Josh did a solo in here, but the other two, those two guys seem to use a lot of what we do, like what we call the inner voicings of the harmony. A lot of times in choral music, poor altos and tenors get stuck in that, where the basses are singing all the big beefy notes and the sopranos are singing the melodies, and the tenors and the altos are kind of like doing the inner work to kind of keep the chords together, and so don't get noticed as much. But those inner chords are what give the ensemble and what give the music its quality, so they're just as important, even if they don't stand out as much as the other voices do. Like, you know, Pablo and Stell are clearly your main tenors that are singing the big melodies, like they're your stars of the show, as it were, and then Ken is holding down the bass. But the other two voices are equally important, they just might not be as pronounced. Yeah, what an incredible group. I mean, like, this has SB19 has really changed my view on boy bands. Not that I thought of them negatively, but I just, you know, maybe it's a Western thing, maybe it's an American thing. A lot of American boy bands just kind of weren't so great. Like, they're just kind of boring to me, not super interesting. But this has really changed my perception, because their music is written with so much integrity and is so interesting and intricate, and they're all so uniquely talented and bring so many gifts to the table of the song, and they all fit the ensemble so well. As Robert Shaw, the composer, used to say, that it's important when you're in a choral ensemble to fit in the sleeve of the ensemble. And all of them, you know, they have their own sleeve that they wear, and they fit right into it. It makes the group sound so unified. It makes them sound so tight. It's just really great. So yeah, I know this went a little bit longer, a little bit more technical, a little bit more in depth. This is how my brain works with music. So get ready. If I'm going to keep talking about these guys, and the more I get familiar with their voices, the more in depth it's going to get. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and thank you all so much for all of your support. Please consider liking and subscribing. Support my channel in any way that you can. Every little thing helps. So thank you so much for watching. You all have a great day. Bye.